And we are live. What up, players? Welcome to episode 66 of Player Life. It is Friday, the 19th of February, here in Tokyo. We have Winston Wolf in the house. What is up, bro? What is good? Hope you're well. Um, we got Javier Joseph in the house. What is up, bro? This topic is bound to be good. Yep. Um, Yes. Yeah, I missed last night's show because I had a booty call. Yeah, that'll happen occasionally. But I also did a live stream with Affy Kingdom yesterday morning. So I guess at least I did a live stream yesterday. Um, yeah, so check that out if you haven't seen it already. Affy's always dropping some good knowledge. Uh, Yeah, but yesterday was interesting actually. So I met this Chinese chick that I met out. I think it was like maybe a week ago. I met her in a bar, and she was really hot. But so that's obviously why I approached her. But it was funny because she was with a white chick. Uh, Turns out she was a British white chick, and I was kind of as soon as I approached the Chinese chick, the British girl was giving me like a filthy look. Like so, it's so typical for white women in in Japan to like be very standoffish and you know the biggest enemy of white men is actually white women in my opinion, especially abroad. I just always get very like stink attitude from white women. I don't get it from other ethnicities. Not I don't know what it is. I don't know. They're just they're just the enemy. I don't know. But anyway, so I was in the middle, and as soon as I talked to the Chinese girl, she was like, I knew she was into me. She gave me a warm smile, and she was like very receptive. And it was in a noisy kind of bar slash club. So I was just gonna roll in and get her number, and that's the objective. If you go out on a night out, you're either trying to take a girl home or you're trying to get numbers. And I was kind of I wasn't really out for the night. I was just out for meeting a friend, and I was like, I wasn't really trying to take a girl home that night. I was going to get the last train home. But anyway, long story short, as soon as I take out my phone to exchange contacts with the Chinese girl, the white chick like tried to butt in and drag the girl away. And how like what an ignorant bitch! Like because the Chinese girl was in like engaging with me like happily. There was no like, oh, these girls like these type of girls really do it to me. Like I mean, I don't know, but like I said, because it's just like they have such a bad attitude. Like Western girls in Japan have the worst attitude. Like they have such a stick up their ass. But yeah, so I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm getting her number. I said that to her. I said, what the fuck are you doing? I'm getting her number. And a lot of I was just pissed off. I didn't really care, well, I wanted to get the girl's number, but I was just like gonna let her know, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm getting her number. Like, yeah, can't you see? Like, and to interestingly, the Chinese girl didn't like, a lot of girls once like they'll take the side of their girlfriends no matter what. But like it was so good because this Chinese like the Chinese girl like kind of like didn't tell me to fuck off or anything after telling her friend to like let me get her number. I mean, I was in the middle of like doing the QR code thing, and like she's trying to pull her away. And so anyway, I got the girl's number. And yeah, I ended up I actually met her the next day, but it was just for a coffee. and you know, I didn't end up smashing that night, but I did yesterday. She's, you know, occasionally when they have an excuse on, you know, if there's an excuse as to why they don't come back with you on the first date, then you know it's fine. But she had some excuse, but yeah, there was definitely like really good chemistry between me and her on when we were on the coffee date. So I was, you know, I didn't think, because sometimes when I go on a first date and nothing happens, a lot of the time, most of the time, it's a sign that, oh, they're gone in the wind. Like it's kind of, you know, that maybe it just doesn't happen. But um, because I'm a really good closer, I can seal the deal. So like if they're not buying into what I'm offering, then it's like usually it doesn't go anywhere. But with this girl, it was really kind of, there was some tension, like sexual tension, and yeah, so I ended up meeting her yesterday. And in this instance, uh, I kind of sexted her before we met. We were talking. I asked her had she ever done a threesome and stuff like that. And usually, as a rule, I wouldn't do that. But this girl was kind of like, just the stuff we were talking about on the first date. I kind of knew that she wouldn't, like, you know, it wouldn't like burn the bridge if I went there. But anyway, I brought her over. She came over last night, and we yeah, we went at it. It was a good time. Really, really hot. Um, but yeah, it's just so funny. It was so funny that her friend, her British, like, total bitch of a friend, was like, yeah, I smashed her anyway. But yeah, but let me just yes, I guess what the moral of that story, or is to you know, if a chick tries to cock block you, like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't have the patience anymore. I just tell them, like, what the fuck you doing? Like, I'm just getting her number, like, you know. And if the girl you're trying to get a number off, like, takes the side of her friend, then yeah, whatever. Just, but it's kind of sweet when even, you know, they kind of stick it to their bitchy friend by like continuing to engage with me, and you know, get the number. You know, Asian chicks tend to be based. I mean, yeah, she was probably like, "What the hell? Why are you dragging me away from, like, you know, why are you taking me away from this guy? Like, you know, he wants my number." But she was just she just had such a bitchy face. Like, she just had this like, she was covered in tattoos. Like, she just looked like a train wreck. Real entitled, real dumb. I was wearing these like shades. Sometimes I wear shades out, you know, like light tinted shades, and she was like, "Why are you wearing shades at night, mate?" You know, trying to be cheeky and, like, you know, just being a bitch, like, you know. I hate when these chicks come to Japan, because they're just like, they have nothing to offer. They really, you know, they're trying to wreck the culture. They're trying to bring with them their shitty ideologies. The beautiful thing is they never last, though. I mean, I hope they don't last, because I don't want these chicks to come here. I don't want, you know, I don't want Japanese society to change. You know, some people come here and they complain. They're like, "Oh, Japan, you know, it's like it needs to change." And it's like, why are you here? Like, you get out of here. Like, if you don't like it, fuck off. Like, get the fuck out. You know, I don't come in here trying to fucking like change Japan. You know, I don't want it to change. It would suck if Japan became westernized. Um, yeah, but let me see. I don't know. Speaking of Western culture, just before I get into the main topic, I'll just show you another video of Western chicks like outing themselves online, because it's great. We need to see this stuff. Chrome tab. All right, let's look at it. This is just like, we need to see this shit.
I got expelled from my old school for fucking my teacher. Yay! I hooked up with my Uber driver while my boyfriend was passed out in the backseat. Yay! I fucked my ex's best friend and he still doesn't know. Yay! The school thinks my sugar daddy is my real dad because he signs me out every week. Yay! I had a crush on my teacher, so I started dating his son so I could come over. Yay!
All right, guys. I mean, for the guys that are blue pill, I just don't know how. I don't know how you could be blue pill living in a Western society. I just don't get it. Like, how could you actually simp for these chicks still? How could you still simp for these entitled little fuckers? Um, just man, I don't know. These guys just like, if you're still simping in 2021, you're like, you don't really deserve to like be awoken. But yeah, it's I don't know. I like saying it. It doesn't even annoy me anymore. It's like, yeah, let's just roll with it. Let's just let these chicks like do it, because I'm gonna have a good time either way. I'm gonna enjoy the decline. Yeah, but on to today's main topic. I want to talk about the art of seduction. It's a book by a guy called Robert Greene. I listened to it sometime last year, an audiobook. It's really long, but it's like it's an interesting read for or listen for anyone who's like interested in game. Yeah, but let me share a screen here. All right. Okay. So someone wrote this blog up, the 9 types of seducers from the art of seduction. So yeah, if you haven't listened to this book, it's by Robert Greene. You can get it on audiobook. But there's basically 9 types of seducers that he talks about in the book. And I just want to go through them today and see, just kind of recap on them. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, so the first one is the siren. The first and most ancient seducer of all is the siren. She represents male fantasy. She is supremely confident, highly sexual, smells of danger, and is physically undeniable. Her greatest power is the physical. There are many beautiful women in the world, but only a fraction are sirens. It's not just her look, it's how she uses it. A scent, a heightened femininity evoked by clothing or makeup. She creates a sexual awareness. It bypasses the rational process. Her beauty may not be perfect or complete, but she accentuates her positives. Thus, she controls your focus and distracts your analysis. The legendary beauty Marguerite de Valois pioneered the use de colletage in wardrobe because she had the most beautiful breasts in France. It's not just beauty that makes a siren, but rather a flair and style. She acts out the male fantasy. Cleopatra greeted and seduced Julius Caesar from the top of a pile of emeralds. Marilyn Monroe, an orphan, grew up with the deepest need to feel loved. She communicated this almost unconsciously and constantly. A beautiful woman can bore a man. He'll yearn for different pleasures. A siren creates this illusion. He is conquered by it. A touch of danger adds spice and appeal. The intellectual can be the most susceptible to her because his mental life lacks the pure physicality of pleasure. There are dangers for the siren. Sirens can look easy. Cleopatra was hated in Rome as the Egyptian whore. A siren can obviate this by looking innocent or like a victim of men's desires. The siren's greatest weakness is this: past a certain age, her beauty will fade and she can't project a fantasy anymore. All right. So, this is, if these are the kinds of women that they might not necessarily be the most beautiful women. you know, some of the women, some of the best like sex I've ever had has been with women that are not necessarily the most beautiful, as I said, but they're at least above average. But it's more than it's the way they dress, it's the way they smell, it's the kind of physical chemical reaction you have with them that can really drive you wild. I always think like it's the girls that are like um 7 out of 10 that can actually be the most hit on. Like a 10 out of 10 woman, like in terms of physical looks, might not get hit on as much as a girl that's like a 7 out of 10. And or it could be like a girl is might not have the most beautiful face, but she has like the most unbelievably perfect body. I mean, perfectly shaped ass, like beautiful breasts, like, and then really kind of a really good. She dresses in such a way that's really like stylish slash sexy and can attract men. Um, these are the kinds of women that This is kind of like a siren. Uh, let's go on to the rake number two. What the physical is for the siren, desire is for the rake. The rake is a great female fantasy figure. When he desires a woman, however briefly, he will go to the ends of the earth for her. The rake teaches us that intense desire has a distracting power on a woman. I don't know about going to the ends of the earth for a woman, but anyway, the seducer's dilemma is that he needs to plan and calculate, but if she suspects your motives, she will become defensive and fearful. But when the rake pursues a woman, he looks like her slave. As such, he inspires no fear. To play the rake, you must let yourself go and draw a woman into the purely sensual. Women are not the tender creatures our culture presumes. That's definitely true. Women are definitely, especially Western women. These women like to be choked and slapped around, and a lot of women do, like rough sex. Like men, they are deeply attracted to the forbidden and dangerous. To play the rake, you must convey a sense of risk and darkness, making her feel thrilled. Lord Byron was a Gothic poet and drank wine from a human skull. Don Juan offered pleasure for its sake, no strings attached. The rake's reputation is priceless. So many women have succumbed. There has to be a reason, right? Women want what other women have. This is 100% true. Women absolutely want what other women have. Rakes never apologize for their reputations. They embrace their bad name. Even when a rake sins against her, she will find a way to forgive him. Women want to reform him. Like the siren, the rake faces the most danger from members of his own sex. In the old days, a rake was often an aristocrat, and no matter who he offended, he would go unpunished. Today, only stars and the wealthy can play the rake with impunity. The rest of us need to be careful. Yeah, so yeah, that's like women definitely want what other women have. I mean, if if I'm ever out, out and about with a chick in Tokyo or anywhere, not anywhere in the world, I'll get attention, or you will too. Like, I mean, uh, I'll get a lot of indicators of interest if I'm with a woman. If I'm on my own, I won't get that many. It'll be few and far between, but you can notice a big difference. And I've told the story before about one of the hottest girls in my college would rejected all my advances, and when she saw me hooking up with another pretty decent looking girl, she was literally like staring at me while I was making out with her. I was like, open my eyes when I was like making out, and I saw it was like kind of creepy but kind of hot too. Like, she was staring at me and kind of grinning and like in the most sexual way. And I was like, damn, this chick. And I ended up hooking up with her that night. So there's something real powerful there. This, to be honest, the way he writes this makes it sound a bit simpy, but on the other hand, it's kind of, I get it. Um, like going to the ends of the earth for a woman, it sounds a bit simpy, but there's something else where it's like you desire a woman so much that she can feel your intense desire, and that can really attract women a lot when they feel your intense uh, passion, basically. Um, but the way he writes this makes it sound like you have to simp. I don't, I don't think like that. Or where they say, you're like a slave to the woman. I don't know. That's that. You know, maybe that is it. But um, yeah, sometimes when it can work either both ways. If a woman feels that your intense passion, she can be creeped out by it, or she can be really really turned on by it. And I guess it depends on how you look also. If you're like an absolute chad and you have this intense like passion for a woman, and she she feels that, she's more than likely going to be like extremely turned on by it. But if you look like a fucking creep, and you look like you're out of shape and you don't dress well, and she feels this intense passion from you, she's probably going to be scared by it. So yeah. But so number 3, the ideal lover. Most people have dreams in their youth that get shattered with age. Broken dreams become lifelong fantasies. The ideal lover reflects your fantasy. Casanova was perhaps the most successful seducer in history. Few women could resist him. His method was simple. On meeting a woman, he would study her, go along with her moods, find out what she was missing in her life, and provide it. A bored wife needed adventure. Miss Pauline needed friendship. Ignazia needed suffering and challenge because her life was too easy. The key to the ideal lover is observation. Ignore your target's words and conscious behavior. Focus on the tone of their voice. A blush here, a look there. Most people are so wrapped up in their own desires, so impatient, they are incapable of the ideal lover role today. Madame de Pompadour saved King Louis from his eternal boredom. She wore different costumes every day, brought new curiosities to her room, proposed new projects like buildings and country houses, and produced plays. She was always the star. For 20 years, Madame de Pompadour ruled both the court and the king's heart until her death at 43. Most people believe themselves to be inwardly great. Ideal lovers make us feel elevated, lofty, and destined for greater things. If another person seems to have that ideal quality or brings it out in us, we fall in love. The danger for the ideal lover is reality. Casanova usually was able to find a clever way to break off the relationship before the woman realized the truth. When reality intrudes, distance is a good solution. All right. So yeah, that's it. There's a very good point in this one where the ideal lover, you have to ignore your target's words and conscious behavior. um I don't know about ignoring the behavior. I agree 100% with ignoring what basically ignoring what women say, because women will not tell you what they want. Women will absolutely not tell you what they want, but you will be able to understand what a woman wants by her behaviors, by her actions, by like you can constantly see you women contradicting their words. Like we all know that women say that they want the nice like provider ideal guy, but then they go off and date the convict or the drug dealer or the alpha, the alpha aggressive like high testosterone men who go after what they want. So you know and it's interesting, like the more mystery there is, the better. So the less you actually tell a woman is like, um, whatever makes her curious about you. You know, you should never fully open up to women and tell them everything because they want to like fantasize about you and fantasize about what what you might be up to. Um, that works a lot for me. Like I employ that tactic a lot. Like I'm very careful about. I don't even think I'm careful about it, but I'm just kind of. I don't tell women like I don't just keep. I don't blather off to women and start like just like telling them my life story. I don't do that. Like I let them like I let them. I don't. I basically don't tell them. If they ask me too many questions, I'm not going to answer all their questions. Um, they really have to work to get to get my life story out of me. Um, but yeah, and that really they just become intrigued by it. Um, let's see, number four. Let's get on to number four. The dandy. Dandies excite us because they cannot be categorized. They hint at a freedom we want for ourselves. Men, not all women think aggressive masculinity is the sexiest. The dandy has a much more sinister effect. He lures the woman in with exactly what she wants: graceful presence, attention to his appearance, sensitivity to detail, and a slightly cruel coquettishness. Um, yeah, well, you got all you got to do is come to Japan and or Korea or other Asian countries, and you'll understand that definitely not all women think aggressive masculinity is the sexiest. Um, yeah, so I know, like, look up a guy called Jay Park. He's a famous Korean singer, but this guy is like probably the most popular pop singer, pop star, whatever, K-pop in Asia. He could pretty much have any Asian women, and this guy like has the most feminine face. Like, sure, he has tattoos and all that, but this guy like his face, he looks like a 12-year-old boy, Um, so there is different like women do different societies, different cultures have different kind of um you know beauty standards or the ideal western like handsome guy is like going to be completely different to what the ideal Asian man will be. um Anyway, Rudolph Valentino was a dandy. His movements were graceful. He had been a professional dancer. His skin was smooth and his face was pretty. His films included scenes of Valentino undressing, a kind of striptease of his trim body. He played exotic characters, sheiks and historical officers who wore tight uniforms or jewelry. Valentino played with his physicality like a woman, but his image was masculine, chatting, flirting, but always in control. Women can be masculine dandies. Marlene Dietrich would dress like a man. Lou von Salom was a complete nonconformist who broke the hearts of academic Europe, including Nietzsche's. She was brilliant, cold, calculating, and broke taboos. Her domineering streak could stir up masochistic yearnings. The majority of people conform to whatever is normal for the time. The dandy displays a true and radical difference, an insolent freedom. They never try to please. As Barbie Dorvilli wrote, dandies please women by displeasing them. Yeah, that's interesting. Pleasing women, but by displeasing them. The insolence of the dandy is aimed at conventions. They live for pleasure, not for work. The key is to make everything an aesthetic choice. Dandies alleviate boredom. A danger for the dandy is the fact that insolence has its limits. Even a dandy must measure out his impudence, be an amusement, not a poison or a threat. All right. So, yeah, I mean, if you can if you can excite a woman and change things up for them, because a lot of women are just bored by meeting the same kinds of men. So if you're kind of different from the normal kind of guy, um, if you just put that little bit of extra effort into your style and fashion than the average guy, uh, then you're gonna have that little spark. You're gonna be ahead of the game, you know. Um, Women like guys that take care of themselves. Like women really are they're most guys don't most guys have this stupid like idea that like taking care of your fashion or your health or taking care of your body is like kind of it's feminine. Like it's it's really not. Those kind of guys are most likely going to smell like shit, like um but yeah, it's whenever if I wear like sometimes I wear these like tinted like kind of like glasses. If I just wear like some shades out, I don't know, I'll just have a way higher success rate. It just gives me that little, I just stand out above a little bit different from the guys around me. um and that's probably why the British girl, in all the years I've been in Japan, and I don't always wear shades at night, but if I do, it's like a light tinted shade like these. But in all the years I've been here, the only person to ever give me stick about it was is white chicks. Like why? It's like Japanese, like Asian chicks. I don't know. They just think it's cool or whatever. It's like I don't know. I like how it looks. I don't, but that's just a thing that kind of separates you from the crowd. You want to be kind of different, not so different that you're a complete like freak, unless you're going to embrace that and that's your thing, man. Everyone has their own, like, everyone needs to find their own like niche. Yeah. So yeah, number 5, the natural. A child represents a world from which we have been forever exiled. An adult's life is boring and compromised, so we have an illusion of childhood as a kind of golden age, even though it can often be a period of great confusion and pain. Yeah, so children are not as guileless as we like to imagine. They learn that if their natural innocence can persuade a parent to yield, then it is something they can use strategically. Natural seducers are people who somehow avoided getting certain childish traits drummed out of them by adulthood. Natural seducers learn early the value of retaining an innocent quality, and a touch of innocence lowers a target's guard. Naturals can be impish and innocent. They are an undefensive lover. Their openness and freshness are a relief to us from the world's dirty machinations. They can surprise you with their unusual energy or spontaneity. Charlie Chaplin was a natural. He was an adult child on the silver screen. Chaplin offered the illusion that life was once simpler and easier, and that for a moment or for as long as the movie lasts, you can win that life back. The childish quality can be charming, but it can also be irritating. The most seductive naturals are those who combine adult experience and wisdom with a childlike manner. Yeah, I guess the natural. I guess like the ability to be able to like joke around and act a fool. Um, that's kind of maybe uh yeah, that might be an element of the natural. um I don't think I was a natural. um I never although game for me right now, like it feels like I'm a natural because I've been doing it for so long, and I don't have any hang-ups about it. I don't have any hesitations or inhibitions, because I understand male female dynamics so well. But when I first started um, doing game, I definitely was not a natural. But you can become. I think you can become a natural. Because the way I deal with women now is like I don't have any hang-ups about joking around. I'm always sarcastic. I joke around with these women just for my own entertainment. Like Japanese people, Japanese women, Japanese society, Japanese people, they don't get sarcasm, and I'm constantly just joking around with them like for my own entertainment. And a lot of the time they don't get the jokes or whatever, and like yeah, just I'm sarcastic. It's just you know when they like for example when I don't tell them what I do. um I don't always tell them like everything about me when they ask. If a girl asks you a question, like you don't need to answer it all the time. Like sometimes even girls will be like, oh, so what's your job, what do you do? And I'll be like, oh, I'm a drug dealer, or oh, I'm in the yakuza or something like that. And you know and then, some of them will laugh, but a lot of them will be like, what, oh my god, like they don't necessarily believe me, but they just don't get the sarcastic element. um some don't feel like you need to tell women like everything, like answer all their questions. But yeah, it's let's see. Javier says, yeah, you can become a natural once game and red pill becomes a go-to behavior. And it will become a go-to behavior over time. Like the better you get at something, the more natural it becomes, for sure. um Yes, so that's the natural. And number 6, the coquette. The ability to delay satisfaction is the ultimate art of seduction. While waiting, the victim is held in thrall. Coquettes lead us on, alternating hot and cold, keeping us on their heels. People are inherently perverse. An easy conquest has a lower value than a difficult one. We are only really excited by what is denied us, by what we cannot possess in full. Coquettes are independent because they are narcissists. To understand the peculiar power of the coquette, you must first understand a critical property of love and desire. The more obviously you pursue a person, the more likely you are to chase them away. You signal a cloying neediness. Withdrawal makes us mysterious. We increase in their imaginations. Josephine famously played the great Napoleon. He would ignore campaigns until he heard from her. When she turned cold, Napoleon would bring his rage to battle. Vanity is critical in love. Insecurity can be devastating. But after the insecurity, coquettes return to ignite our hope and we feel desired again. The world is full of people who try, people who impose themselves aggressively. They leave no space around themselves, and without space, there can be no seduction. In a world that discourages direct confrontation, teasing and selective aloofness brilliantly disguises aggression. Coquettes face an obvious danger. They play with volatile emotions. Every time the pendulum swings, love shifts to hate. Coquettes can overplay their hand. Once love and trust are broken, they never mend to former strength. So yeah, it's yeah, you can. I feel like you can play this card with women that are obviously. It's easiest to play this kind of card with people that are with women that are kind of really into you, and it can kind of drive them even. It's a dangerous card to play because it can, if you kind of end up teasing them, and it drives them to like almost, it could drive them to hate you because you're not like letting them have what they want. um if you balance it can work out well. But um yeah, it's if it I don't know if this one would work with chicks that aren't really into you, because I think the more space you leave, uh, between yourself and a chick. Say if you're on a date and you're just being aloof, and you're not showing them, like you're not getting close to them, you're not making any moves. and that can work in to your disadvantage, because you're creating like a barrier between you and the woman. But on the other hand, if she's into you, if she's really into you, and you leave that space, that can make her like really kind of like wild, like, because from her body language that she wants to get close to you, but you're not making any moves. But yeah, like if like I said, if on the other hand she's not really that into you, and you're putting that space between you and her, then it can like create that barrier. It can just strengthen the barrier between you and the woman. But yeah, there's definitely a point there where, if you pursue too hard, you can come across as needy, you know, and neediness is the most unattractive, like really unattractive thing. Never want to come across as being needy. It's really like, it's really imperative. Like, women do not want anything to do with needy men. Like, it's just, neediness suggests complete, undesirability. Like, that's what neediness suggests, that you're not desirable to other women, you don't have any other options, things like that. All right, so number 7, the charmer. Charmers are consummate manipulators, masking their cleverness by creating a mood of pleasure and comfort. Their method is simple. They deflect attention from themselves and focus it on their target. Charmers make us feel better. Charmers do not argue, complain, or pester. What could be more seductive? By drawing you in with their indulgence, they make you dependent on them. Indulgence, they make you dependent on them. Learn to cast the charmer's spell by aiming at people's primary weakness, vanity and self-esteem. To be a charmer, you have to listen and observe. Let your targets talk and reveal themselves. Don't talk about your problems. 100%. Do not talk about your problems in front of women. You won't, you're not going to be like, you're not going to like, earn their pity. Even if they, yeah, you might actually earn their pity. And that's not a thing you want from women. Even if they come across as being passionate, just know that their pussies are dry, like getting drier than the Sahara Desert. It's like, it's such a basic rule of game, Listen to your target's complaints, but then distract them from their problems. They will fall under your spell. Benjamin Disraeli charmed Queen Victoria. They exchanged flowery, almost romantic correspondence for years. Disraeli was not deceived by Queen Victoria's dour exterior. Beneath it, he sensed, was a woman who yearned for a man's affection and warmth. He consulted her frequently on policy decisions, asking her for advice. Disraeli so charmed the Queen that he was one of the few men allowed to sit in her presence. People who play on their beauty have little power in the end. Beauty fades. Charm is ageless. And that's why men have the upper hand in the sexual marketplace. We all know men pay up front. When men are teenagers, when we're growing up, early 20s, you'll often, a lot of guys will suffer because they lack game, they lack understanding of women. Let's be honest, some guys never learn game. Some guys will die and never understand women. They'll never swallow the red pill. They'll be blue pilled their entire lives. That's a fact. That's the majority of men. But even a blue pill guy, he's going to suffer. He's going to not be attractive to women, and then when he comes through, he reaches his 30, he starts like building himself up. He gets enough money, and hopefully gets some shit together. He can do well in his 30s. But on the other hand, women are like, that's the harsh fact that that's just nature. The facts speak for themselves. Statistics don't lie. You just look at men like young, beautiful women. That's not going to change anytime soon. Women can cry about it, they can scream about it, they can protest about it, they can go on women's marches, they can like cry that men don't like transgender women, they can do all this weird, they can call us racist, they can call it all weird stuff, like nothing to do with anything. It just doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean? It's just you know, when basically men pay up front, women pay later. But on the other hand, like if you swallow if you know get RP awareness when you're young, you can clean up. Like I mean, that's the beauty of the RP. You get the knowledge, and you can you don't even have to pay up front. That's it. That's the crazy thing. Anyway, but charmers can't charm everyone. Cynics and confident types don't need validation. The solution is to befriend and charm as many people as possible. Secure your power through numbers. We often recognize charmers. We sense their cleverness. Still, we fall under their spell. The reason is simple. The feeling that charmers provide is so rare as to be worth the price we pay. Yeah, it's actually difficult to be a charmer in my opinion. I think like it's because I'm actually I consider myself an introvert. So it's kind of exhausting to have to like like act or like play to people. Um but on the other hand, I can see the advantages of it, of being very sociable, of being charming. But it can be exhausting, like dealing with people, having to like I guess you kind of have to be fake. um but yeah, it's just like, I guess it just comes down to like social IQ, being able to read the air, being able to read people. um yeah, but yeah, when it comes to women, it's obviously going to be an advantage. um I wouldn't even say I'm a charmer. I wouldn't say I am. I'm more of I don't know. I'm kind of a degenerate. I would say I'm kind of like the rake without being a simp. I kind of, but anyway, we'll go back to that. But let's see, the charismatic, number 8. Charisma is a presence that excites us. It comes from an inner quality, confidence, sense of purpose, contentment, that most people lack and want. Charismatics become a kind of screen of which others project their secret fantasies and longings. This quality radiates outward. They have a gift for oratory. They can seduce on a grand scale. Charismatics express vision. Purposefulness is doubly charismatic in times of trouble. Since most people hesitate before taking bold action, people will believe in you through the simple force of your character. Call it the savior syndrome. Once people imagine you can save them from chaos, they will fall in love with you. Mystery lies at charisma's heart, but it is a mystery expressed by contradiction. Mao could be proletarian and aristocratic. Peter the Great could be cruel and kind. Charles de Gaulle could be excitable and emotionally detached. Freud could be intimate and distant. A charismatic relies on the power of words. Words are the quickest way to create emotional disturbance. They can uplift, elevate, stir anger without referring to anything real. But be aware, charisma is as volatile as the emotions it stirs. Your passion, your anger, your confidence make you charismatic, but too much charisma for too long creates fatigue and a desire for calmness and order. Um, yeah, it comes down to, like I said, like social IQ and being very sociable. Um, and personally, I don't think you don't need like to be uh, you don't need to be an extrovert to be really good at game. Um, it just comes down to how you deal with women one on one, in my opinion. Um, you know, let's see, number 9, the last one, the star. Daily life is harsh, and most of us constantly seek escape from it in fantasies and dreams. Stars feed on this weakness. They are vague and ethereal. Learn to become an object of fascination by projecting the glittering presence of the star. Of all the parts of your body that draw this fetishistic attention, the strongest is the face. So learn to tune your face like an instrument, making it radiate a fascinating vagueness for effect. Kennedy, during and after his campaign, did not argue with his opponents. He confronted them dramatically. He posed. He did not discuss policy details, but waxed eloquent about grand mythic themes. Seduction seeks to bypass consciousness, stirring the unconscious mind instead. The most eloquent expression of the unconscious is the dream, which is connected to myth. Dreams are filled with real situations, yet they are delightfully irrational, pushing realities to the extremes. It's fusion of the dream and reality that haunts us. This is what Freud called the uncanny, something that seems simultaneously strange and familiar. First, you must have such a large presence that you can fill your target's mind the way close-ups fill the screen. Another way stars seduce is by making us identify with them, giving us a vicarious thrill. People of your type will gravitate to you, identify with you, and share your joy or pain. Stars must always renew their luster or face the worst possible fate, oblivion. People will turn against you if you bore them, for boredom is the ultimate social evil. Most importantly, never become obsessed with the obsessive quality of people's interest in you. All right, so they are the 9 types of seducers. Um, I mean, it's interesting to read different. It's kind of academic, making it all academic, but um, you can like pick and choose like from different kinds. Like, no one's going to be one or the other. You're going to have like different elements from each one. Um, but it's actually it's important also. It's like, some people can get like too bogged down in reading about game and how to do game and the different kinds of seducers. And it's like, I always say, like, you have to, like, action is actually more important than it's almost more important. Well, I think it is more important than actually reading about it. um it can definitely, obviously you want to do both, but if I was to choose, I would say get out into the real world and observe reality. um so in conclusion, it says all seduction is inherently manipulative. At its best, it's morally dubious. At its worst, it's the emotional equivalent of evil, Operation Evil. Seduction can taste sweet as saccharin and can be just as false and toxic. So when your lover seems too good to be true, review this list. Maybe you'll find your lover there on the list. Um, yeah, but yeah, that's just a brief summary of the book, um, The Art of Seduction. But yeah, like I said, no one's going to be one or the other. People are made up of different things. Um, yeah, but I thought it was interesting. Let's see the chat. Uh, let's see. Federico Monticelli, what up, brother? Which one am I, Mac? I would say you're. I don't know. Everyone's a mixture of different kinds. I would say. Let's see. You're probably. I don't know. Maybe charmer, a mixture of the charmer and the rake. From what I've seen, minus the part about like simping. going to the ends of the earth for her. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would describe myself as the rake without the simpy parts. I'm definitely not going to be a slave to a woman, but the part where you have an extreme desire for women can kind of smell the kind of thirst off you without not in a needy way, where you're not portraying yourself as being needy, but you're portraying yourself as being kind of lustful of them. That's yeah. Spark 55 says, I hate being a charmer constantly bullshitting so people like you. If you want to be a charmer, simply throw a person's opinion back, or in another word, say what they want to hear. Yeah, charmer maybe is an yeah, you never want to be like a lick ass. You never want to like be a brown nose. Let's see. Javier, the best thing is to be one of them at the right time in the right situation. That's what I think is a form of amused mastery. I agree with that, Or it can be a mixture of both, like I said. But there's a time and a place for everything. That's when it comes down to social IQ. When you can understand, you're able to read the air, you're able to understand the situation. That's why, that's how you why I always say action is more important. Like actually doing game, approaching as having social interactions with as many people as possible. Just being sociable in general, because you learn about human nature from just interacting with them. You learn naturally. That's why I'm saying how are not how are more men not RP aware in today's society? But because all the truth is punching you right in the us in the face every single day. Know Your Worth says, all of these I can relate a little. Yeah, you're gonna find one or two elements in each one. Sergio in the house, what is up? He says, this is awesome, good stuff. Javier says, coquetting is great for getting a girl wet before sex. Indeed. Especially, like I said, especially when they like you. I had a girl over today that was I hadn't seen her in quite a while. Not since summer, and I kind of I had the Chinese girl last night, so I was kind of I wouldn't say sexed out, but I was not as horny as I usually am, because I had a let's just say I had a good workout last night. But so she came right over, and I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't as quick to it as I usually would be, and I think that drove her even wilder. Because I a rare thing, whenever I have a chick over, I never usually let them come to me. I'm always the one. 99% of the time, I'm always the one to make the first move. Just because I'm just that kind of dog. I'm just I'm right to it. But I just let it chill for a bit, and I could just see her getting hornier and hornier, just because I wasn't making any moves. I was we were just chilling, watching TV, and I wasn't watching the movie, and I wasn't making any moves. But yeah, it got her really wet. But yeah, Winston Wolf says, got to get into Robert Greene. His work is incredibly well put together and researched. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, the 48 Laws of Power and the Art of Seduction, and yeah, it's heavy stuff too. But it's good. I mean, it's they're good listens. I listen to books these days. Reading is good, but it's very, very time consuming to actually read. It's much more efficient to listen. Audiobooks are the way forward. Audiobooks. because you can read them while you're on the go. Like you can't read a book while you're walking to the train station, but you can listen. You can listen to a book. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, but yeah, guys. I mean, just take like yeah, like pick and choose. Like you know when to employ a certain tactic. Like there's no script. There's no script you can just give a guy and be like, oh, this is gonna work. Like with every woman, every chick is. There's some fundamentals that are the same, but yeah, they're not all the same. They're not all the exact same. Chicks have different types. They like different types of guys. You know what I mean? So you have to employ a different strategy. You have to be able to read people, basically. If you can read a woman, if you can read her character, if you can read what type of guy she's into, you can change things up. And yeah, it's good stuff. Like just learn people. If you learn people, that's the greatest skill you can ever have. Really is, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. Like you know what I mean. And it's a difficult pill for me to swallow, because like I said, I'm an introvert. Like I'm on here doing YouTube, but like I'm not a really sociable person. Um I'm definitely not, but I acknowledge, like, trust me, I've seen too much. Like I know it's like not what you know, it's who you know. Like if obviously the more skills you have in life, it's you're gonna do better. But someone with no skills and like great like people skills can almost do better in life. And that sucks. But in a way it sucks, because like you know what I mean? But it's undeniable, you know. It's undeniable. But Winston says, sort of an inward person too. I like attention, but it gets old quick. Yeah, I don't know. It just there's different kinds of, you can have different kinds of interactions, where you can be around people that will energize you, and then you can be around people that will really drain you, offer kind of won't really motivate you. Obviously you want to be around people that like stimulate you, get you motivated, people that have interesting things to say, and are going places in life. But yeah, I'm definitely I like I like everyone. I'm human, so I like to be sociable, but not as much as some people. But it's undeniable, if you have good people skills, you're gonna have a serious advantage, massive, and especially when it comes to game. I mean, understanding people, understanding women, it's just like invaluable. But yeah, guys, that is gonna do it for tonight. So I will catch you guys on Monday for another episode of Player Life. Hope you guys have a good weekend. As usual, like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description. I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Bye-bye.